Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to our part 6 episode of All Things Self-Love. Today we're going to be speaking about limiting beliefs. So we're going to be joined with our guest, Karuna, who is a hypnotherapist, a certified life coach, and an energy healer. Let me come on here and add Karuna. For those of you who don't know me, I'm also a certified life coach by the J. Shetty School. Hey, Karuna,
Hey,
how's it going?
good. How are you doing?
Good.
All right. We have a lot of light in the room today.
Yeah, brightness, sun's coming out, back in California. So I gave our audience a quick introduction, and I think today we'll jump right in and giving a recap of some of the topics we talked about in the previous calls. So would you like to get us started?
Sure. So, Happy New Year once more to everybody. And we started a series on self-love on December 1st, 2021. And we've been doing it pretty much every week. We talked about self-acceptance, setting boundaries, believing in yourself, self-esteem. And today we're talking on limiting beliefs. And I think Judy has all those videos on her Instagram account, and I have it on my YouTube channel, Karuna Healing Center. So if you want to go back to the previous, you can join us and listen to the previous talks. All right.
Yeah,
So shall we get started?
As always, we want to make this as interactive as possible. So if you guys have any questions or insights from our sessions, or you have any topics you'd like us to discuss in next sessions, just send us messages, drop it in the comments, and let us know.
Yes, definitely. And we'd love to share, be part of your experiences too, just like we share our experiences. All right. So Julie and I are working on making this 20 minutes. Has been going over that thing before. Okay, so let's look at limiting beliefs from a different perspective. So if this is you, that's a cute you, right? Everybody's living in a box, right? The box is basically the edges of the box are your belief systems. So as long as you are, but your life is going according to your belief systems, you are feeling okay. You may not be comfortable or you may not be happy, but at least you're okay because life is more predictable because you're within your box, within your energy field. Okay, so everything looks okay. But the thing is, the box is limiting you in some ways. Right, and some people's box may be small. Some people may have bigger boxes in which they live, so they have more space to move around. As you can see, there is more space to move around, right? So the more restrictive your belief systems are, the smaller your box becomes, and then you have difficulty navigating through life, flowing through life, because your soul is so expansive, and you're trying to fit the soul in this small little box, and it feels constrained. Right? You feel limited, you feel trapped, right? You can even have feelings like, I'm feeling stuck, I can't move, right? Because the energy field is trying to compress itself so much into the tight box. So your beliefs are really very, very important because everything in your reality is based on the beliefs that you have created about yourself, about your life, about how the world is, right? And as we keep going on an inner journey, and as we keep making our beliefs more and more expansive, like we are moving into bigger and bigger boxes, we will come to a time, hopefully in some incarnation, where the box will just disintegrate. And then you are enlightened. You have nirvana, you are moksha, right? So the objective is, our purpose of life is to keep expanding your beliefs more and more. And so that you can bring more of life in, allow more of life to flow in. Right, like with the pandemic that happened, that's been going on. Most of the people, I think, the pandemic was outside their belief systems. Nobody expected it to last for so long, and how quickly it affected the entire world, and how it shut the world down. Right. Therefore, because anything outside the box, you will feel uncomfortable because it's unknown. It doesn't align with any of your belief systems. Therefore, when the pandemic started, for example, there was so much unrest, there was stress, anxiety, fear, because it's unknown. And people don't like being in the unknown, right? Because it's difficult, because you don't know what's going to happen. It's like you're suddenly in a big playing field and you have no idea what's going to happen there. It could be even things like if you're going for a major surgery, right? And it's unknown what's going to happen in the surgery. So you go through a lot of pre-surgery anxiety and stress, right? So we all want to be always within the box and live our life according to the beliefs we have created. Okay, but you have to become aware when your beliefs are trapping you and not allowing you to enjoy life, not allowing you to flow easily with life. That's the time you have to kind of look at your box and say, where am I in this box? Is my box too tight? Is my beliefs too restrictive? Is there something I need to look into? Right? And that comes down to what we discussed earlier about self awareness. How aware are you of your life? How aware are you of your beliefs? Right? And if you're not aware, you might just be repeating the patterns over and over again, basically moving in this box all the time, but really not expanding. And growth is all about expansion, right? But you may be like spinning your wheels in the box, just going in and in within your reality. And that's how many people live their life, right? They like to be in the same group of friends, the same culture of, or the same places, and the same food, and same everything, same, because it's comfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that. I love that visualization, because for me, I'm also a very visual person. And it is true that depending on where we are, what stage in life we are, our box gets bigger and smaller as we expand. And I think some of the biggest limiting beliefs that we have are not feeling good enough, not feeling
Mm-hmm.
worthy enough, and not feeling deserving.
Yeah,
And those generally come from an early childhood. And like you said, with the cycle that we go through, because that has been almost our tag, we labeled that as our limiting belief from a very young age. We keep carrying that into our experiences, into our new emotions, and therefore reliving this limiting belief and keeping ourselves inside this box.
that's true. Most of your beliefs, they say, are 70 to 80% of your beliefs are formed before the ages of 8 to 12. Right? As a hypnotherapist, I understand the brain. So they are formed before the ages of 8 to 12 because we don't have a defense system built in by that time. And the child will normally believe what any authoritative figure, whether it's the parent or the teacher or a neighbor, tells them. Right? So if you have been told many times when you were young that you're not good enough, or you've been compared with your siblings and you said you're not good enough, then that kind of sticks in your brain, right? It goes in your subconscious mind, and then it remains with you for the rest of your life. So even though you're good enough and everybody else around you can know how good you are, but internally you just don't feel that you're good enough, right?
Yeah.
So we create that belief and then we are kind of living with it all our lives, and just makes life so much more difficult because you can't reach your highest potential when you have this belief running through you.
And I think that's really the power of coaching. You can have this awareness level of, having this limiting belief or feeling not as confident or not good enough. But through the help of getting coached or doing more of that inner work, you dig deeper and deeper into figuring out what actually was the root cause in which you formed that belief. What was the moment in your life where you took on that belief and you adopted it almost? And then as you grow up, when you're ready to kind of let that belief go, you almost have to learn to find the root cause, clear that up, and then only then can you move on to the next level.
Yeah, but I want to bring an important point with respect to what you said is you don't always need to find the root cause, because the subconscious mind is such a powerful computer that if I want to create a new belief, I know that I have a belief I'm not good enough, but I want to create a new belief which says I am capable and strong and I can handle anything. Then I can actually install that in your subconscious mind. And then this belief that I'm trying to install, the supercomputer, which is between your ears, the subconscious mind, it's going to go and erase all the beliefs that are contradicting this new belief that I'm trying to install. So that's the power of hypnosis, actually, versus psychotherapy, I think. You don't have to analyze and get down to the root cause. You can just know, okay, I have this belief, but this is what I want to replace it with. So you just need to find a way to go and put the new code inside your supercomputer, and it will go ahead and replace all the things. It's pretty fascinating how the hypnosis or hypnotherapy does that,
Yeah.
right? So, so
I,
yeah,
I, I love the supercomputer and how powerful we are. and how able we are to go back into some certain things that happen to us and like clear those things up. And like as a life coach, one of the most powerful questions I think you can ask for limiting beliefs is, what's the earliest time in your childhood do you remember holding on to this perfection, or do you remember feeling not good enough? And as you dig deeper and deeper into remembering certain things, you realize like, oh wow, when I did that science project, I already had this level of perfectionism, and it was always installed by me through my parents, through my teachers, whatever it is. And when you realize that it's coming from there, then you can kind of say, okay, now that I know this, let's take this incident and realize, okay, I'm allowed to play. I don't need to have this perfectionist mindset all the time. I'm allowed to do this. But I think being able to go back to the root cause, like you said, is the key start into being able to transform those beliefs and expand your box.
Right. And another way to expand your box, actually, if you're living in a box, and is to live at the edge of your box. Because what you're trying to do is expand the box. So you want to come to the edge and know what is not comfortable. Because when you're crossing over from what you believe in to what is unknown to you, then you are having a feeling of discomfort. So most of us as human beings, we try to run away from discomfort and uncomfortable things. But really, if you want to expand your box, you need to come to the edge and kind of work a little bit and get comfortable with the discomfort and make whatever is discomfort into comfort. When you made something that was discomfort to you earlier into comfort, that means you've expanded your box. And the larger the box, the more you can flow with life. So a lot of other things in your life will also become much easier just by expanding your box. Rather than working on everything one piece by piece, you can just learn, how can I get more, expand my box more. And there are different ways it can expand your box. One of the ways you can do is, of course, it requires courage to go into the unknown, right? and to get out of your comfort zone and try something new. Especially people like to remain in the status quo way, right? So it's a little bit more, but you have to be open to new ideas too, so that you can broaden your perspective, your way of looking at life, right? One way is to get involved with people who are thinking different from you. Instead of always being with the same friends all the time, choose friends who think very differently and try to, because they are bringing a new perspective. There are so many different ways of living life. And these people who are different from you have a different way of viewing life. And there might be just some gem lying in the way they do things. And you can say, whoa, I didn't realize that. I could do it this way too. Right? Or traveling, of course. Traveling is a great way to broaden your perspective, because suddenly when you travel to different countries, different cultures, you see what was normal to you in your country, in your culture, and you go there and that could also be normal. It's like in India, we eat with our hands, right? And in the Western country, you eat with your fork and spoon, right? So what is normal? If I start eating with my hand here, and Western people will look at me weirdly, like, what is she doing? Whereas if in India, when I'm traveling, and even in a restaurant, I eat with my hand, it's okay, because that's the culture. Right? So suddenly you realize, oh yeah, eating with hand is not a bad thing. It's just a different cultural insight, right? And other things you can do. Does it make sense, right? In broadening your perspective, broadening your views is by looking at people who have different views from you, right?
Yeah.
Trying to be
a lot about almost like what you raised into, what you grow into, you start adopting those beliefs. So if you're doing exactly what you said, where you're getting out of your comfort zone and you're surrounding yourself with people who think differently than you, then now you can start to question your beliefs. Actually, why am I really thinking this way? Or why did I limit myself in this way when other people are doing it this way? And I think, like you said, it's just you're broadening that comfort zone by putting yourself out there.
Yeah, and you can do simple things. It doesn't have to be. That's why people who get older, they make their box smaller. So they, because they have so many more rigid habits and behaviors, and they don't want to move out of those habits. So actually they're shrinking the box, right? Whereas you don't have to. You could keep expanding your box till the last day of your life by having a very open mind, right? And one of the ways you can do it is like simple things. Suppose you're used to drinking tea of a particular flavor every day. Right? And your mind has got conditioned that when I have this black tea, I feel good and my day starts well. Or it could be a coffee, flavor of coffee, right? See if you can change it a little bit. One day, just have a few sips of another flavor of tea. Yeah, you won't like it. You'll feel probably discomfort, right? Because it's not your usual. But that's training your mind to say that this also is a possibility. And you don't have to drink the whole cup. You can have a few sips, that's it. And then keep repeating that over and over till one time, even that tea starts feeling comfortable. Then you know you've expanded, right? So simple changes in habit. If you always keep your house in a particular way, can you shift the furniture around a little bit? It could be just a chair in the room. Move it to another place. Maybe your eyes may not like it because you're used to seeing the chair in one place. Keep it on the other side for a couple of minutes. Now, suddenly that feels uncomfortable, but if you keep doing that every day for 2 minutes, putting it there, after a while, it will become normal. Right? So these are like simple tools, creating tiny variations in your life to expand your comfort zone, get out of your comfort zone. And those are not difficult to do, I think. What do you think? Are they difficult? Just making slight changes in your habits. Right? It's like if you wear.
I think we don't realize how big of an impact it makes, actually.
Yes, we don't realize, because if you really study the brain and how it works, then the brain likes expansion. The brain likes variations, basically. Right? And every time you're getting into a habitual pattern, you're constricting the brain. And it likes variation. It likes change. Every day, if you're driving from point A to point B using the same route every day, change it. Start taking a different route. Even if it's longer, just change it. Right? So out of 7 days in a week, maybe one day you take a different route. Keep doing it till the other route feels comfortable for you to reach also. That means, boom, you've expanded, because what was uncomfortable before has become comfortable to you now. Yeah. And when you make this tiny, tiny change, you don't even realize that your brain is expanding, but it is expanding. Yeah. And suddenly when you're faced with a real challenge, your brain knows, oh, I can have choices. Earlier I thought it had to do it one way, but now you've trained the brain to say, hey, we have choices always. You can have this tea or we can have this tea. We can go this route or we can go the other route. And so another challenge comes and the mind starts thinking creatively. We can solve it this way or we can solve it this way.
Yeah. Our audience is saying that there's comfort in habits, and that's really true. And they're asking, is it okay to not be comfortable with something even after trying it?
Yeah, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. At least you took the step of trying something new. Right? That means you kept an open mind. So yes, it is perfectly okay. But the important thing is that you made a choice of trying something new rather than being stuck in one habit. Because you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you're creating a neural pathway in your brain which says, whenever this trigger happens, this is how you behave. And what we're trying to do here is we're trying to open new neural pathways. So you tried something, it opened a new pathway. Now you may not travel on that very often because you didn't like it, but you created a new pathway. You expanded your brain.
Yeah. There's a saying that I really love. That's what wires together fires together. And that's exactly the idea. If you visualize all the pathways that you have within your system, what are you connecting, what's coming together, and which areas are you expanding on, and how long does it take to actually come up with, to be able to do a habit consistently is quite some time. So if you think about just trying something new once, it seems like, of course, you're going to have to go at it a few times until it even starts to be comfortable. But maybe the whole point is just for it to stay uncomfortable and continuing exploring what other avenues maybe you want to go to.
And it seems like it will remain uncomfortable forever, but that's really not true. You keep doing it, because I have traveled across the world and I have to change habits all the time when I travel to different parts of the world, right? And it may seem uncomfortable initially to adopt a new habit, but after a while, after 1 or 2 days of living there, it becomes comfortable again, right? So something in my brain expanded, whether I consciously realized it or not. And all that you have to do in your life is to keep expanding your box, keep moving into bigger boxes. And everything else that you do in your life, whatever profession you're following, whatever work you're doing, with an expanded brain, you can actually have more creativity in your work. Okay? And your body follows the mind. So as the brain expands in creativity, the body finds creative solutions to handle different things too. So the connection, when we're thinking logically with the mind, we may not see a connection between the brain expansion and how your life is changing. But there is a definite connection. That's why in meditation we try to go beyond the mind, because the mind doesn't really understand all these beautiful connections that can happen. So you need to go beyond the mind. So you want to make your life better, more easy, be flexible. Don't get into set habits. Keep trying to adapt to different things. And your limiting beliefs will start shifting automatically. Because every time the belief comes in, you will find a solution to it. And you learn to adapt to a new way of doing things. But first step is, of course, awareness. Awareness is very important. We can't go away from awareness, right?
Yeah.
And we talked about using your breath as a tool in one of our talks before. Focus on your breath, because your breath always brings your awareness to the present moment. And in the present moment lies your power. And in the present moment, you can realize, oh my God, this is how I'm thinking all the time. Many times you think, oh, we can't do this because I'm not good enough. Yeah. Hey, you are a limitless human being. You have the same potential as every other human being. The only difference is you have put yourself in a smaller box. So impossible is nothing but I am possible. So if you split the words up, it is I am possible. Nothing is impossible, right? So it's just how you view things, right? So if you have belief system and say, this is not possible, take a moment to see if you can change that. And say, yeah, maybe I can't do this today, but there's always a possibility in future that I may be able to do this. Even just saying that much shifts something within you. So instead of stopping and saying, this is not possible, take it one step further and say, this is not possible by me right now. But you know what? Maybe in the future, I'm going to be able to do it.
Yeah. Almost rewiring and reframing the way of putting things. And for anyone watching live right now and the replay, definitely share where you feel like you're putting yourself in a box. What are some of those limiting beliefs for you where you're ready to kind of expand out of that and work towards more of your goals and getting rid of those limiting beliefs?
Yeah, that would be nice to know how different people have different belief systems, right? And a lot of them are cultural belief systems too, based on the culture that you've grown up in. You don't even realize, because all these beliefs, as I said, are created, 80 to 90% are created before the ages of 8 to 12. So you don't even remember that you created these beliefs, right? So if you really watch carefully, you'll realize that you're doing a lot of things similar to what your mom did or your dad did, without consciously being aware of it, right? Yeah. Because you were watching them during that age. And you picked up a lot of belief systems from them, right? So like my mom had a particular way of cooking certain things, and she said, you must always put this ingredient whenever you cook this. So it kind of became a habit. I never stopped to pause and think, why am I putting this ingredient? It was like, it's a family tradition. I just have to do it, right? And then one day, if that ingredient is not with me and I'm making the dish, my dish is not going to turn out good because, I don't have that ingredient. Right? But then you realize, go around the world, people are cooking the same dish so many different ways. So really that ingredient by alone doesn't make the dish good, right? So it's just like you think you're not good enough, but you are good enough. And you just don't realize it because you put all these restrictions, like putting rubber bands around you and tying yourself up, and you need to break free of all those ropes that you've tied around you.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is being able to, like you said, break that cycle or break all those ropes that are being tied, because often when we don't feel good enough, then we do things that just justify the fact that we are not good enough, versus, like you said, break out of that comfort zone and doing other things that actually do, actually say, yes, actually you are good enough. So it's almost like making yourself do certain things and then proving to yourself, wait a second, I can do this, I know how to do this, and getting rid of the belief that you can't or that you won't be able to, and being able to reframe how you are speaking to yourself. So I think that's also a big topic of self-love, of once you do have those beliefs in you, how are you then communicating and self-talk to yourself? So I think in our next episode we'll go into a little bit more of self-talk.
Yeah, and I think another thing we have to let go, based on what we've talked so far, is letting go of people and places that no longer serve you. That's also your limiting belief that makes you think that you must stick around with this person for the rest of your life. Maybe you don't need to, because if they're not empowering you, they're not being there for you, they're not supportive of you, then you need to learn how to have the courage. And as we talked about, it needs courage to get out of your comfort zone. Right? So maybe you've been associating with a group of friends and suddenly you've outgrown them, and you still continue being with them, but they keep pulling your vibration down all the time. But your belief system is what keeps you stuck with that group all the time. No, they have been my friends for so long and I just have to be with them. No, this is your personal journey. And we believe in past lives, but right now you're only aware of this lifetime. So you want to enjoy this lifetime to the fullest, right? So make the journey as good for you as you can. Don't hang on to people and places and situations that no longer serve you, right? And I think somebody's talking about doing exactly opposite of what their parents did. Maybe you need to relook at that belief. Maybe they did something right too. Yeah. Anyway, so I think letting go of the stories we make up, okay? Because our stories are based on our limiting belief systems of who we are, and maybe breaking through that, right? You can always move up several notches, irrespective of what anybody else tells you around. You know, my kids are in sports, and there are so many times coaches will say, you can never be better than this, right? And they limit the athlete immediately, right? And I'm in my mind, I'm like, this athlete has limitless potential, just like the other athlete. By putting this belief in him or her that she cannot be better than the other athlete, you are just restricting her growth, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes we have to know what beliefs we have picked up from others, who has been keep putting labels on us. We need to break through it. We are limitless human beings. We can do amazing things, and it's been proven over and over again by exceptional people, who are ordinary people, and suddenly they do something amazing, and then a lot of other people say, oh, if he can do it, I can do it too, right? So break through those belief systems. If your goal is to be the best athlete in the world, then bring those mindset in. Bring the right beliefs into your mind, which says, I am a perfectly wonderful, awesome, amazing athlete, and I am getting better and better each day. Right?
Yeah.
Same with yourself. I am getting better and better each day, instead of saying, I can do that. Right?
Yeah.
Try it. Take baby steps, right? And those baby steps are what's going to bring you to the best results, instead of trying to do a quantum leap, right? Because sometimes when you take a big leap, you can fall down pretty hard too, right? And when you take a quantum leap, sometimes you don't learn the lessons on the way. When you take small steps, you can really watch and be aware, and then you're building a solid foundation. Right? It's like if you build a house, if you can put the quality work in it, the house will remain for many centuries. And if you do it in a very fast, sloppy way, it's going to collapse someday. Right? So baby steps is the way I believe life should be. Right? We don't really have to rush through life. We just need to learn to take good, solid steps. Right?
And limiting beliefs have been with us for so long that it's not like we wake up the next day and they're completely gone. It's just figuring out what on our journey is there for us to learn, and what are those steps for us to get even closer to believing in ourselves more and getting rid of certain things that are limiting us.
Yeah, and as you learn to let go the limiting beliefs, you will come to what you said, learning to accept yourself more and more. Right? When you learn to accept yourself, you're going to love yourself more and more. Right? So you'll honor yourself more and more, because like, wow, I'm pretty good, I'm trying new things and I'm able to adapt to the new things. Yeah. So the story you tell yourself has to change by saying, you know what, I'm a person who likes to try new things. And that's the only way you'll get from this box to this box, is when you start expanding and trying new things, opening yourself to new ideas, doing new things. I think traveling solo is a great way to expand your box, right? Because when you're traveling solo, you don't have people around you who you know very well to give you company. So now you are actually trying to adapt to people around you. Your listening skills go up. Your ability to see things goes up, and you start watching how other people are doing things more, because you don't have all this chatter of other friends and family around, right? Yeah. So I think going solo is a great way. It's of course out of your comfort zone of many people, because they don't like going solo. Right? But I've traveled solo around the world, and I really enjoy that experience many times. Yeah, sometimes I like to travel with other people, but at times I just like to go alone. Yeah. So yeah, get out of your comfort zone. Every day, do something to get out of your comfort zone. If smiling at a stranger is uncomfortable for you, set a goal for this week. I'm going to smile at 2 strangers this week. And then at the end of the week, review a goal. And if you've done it, kudos to you, because you expanded yourself, right? So try something every day. It has to be something very small, as I said. If you're tying your hair always this way, and today morning when we had a session, I had my hair loose, and it was not comfortable for me because I'm used to tying it up. But once in a while, I'll just leave it, and it doesn't feel comfort. But as I keep doing it more and more, I start feeling comfortable, and I can still continue talking and doing things, right? Otherwise, it would keep bothering me that my hair is loose, right? So yeah, small things. Keep doing every day. Try to keep one small area of discomfort introduced into your life, because change is all about moving into the unknown. All creativity lies in the unknown. It doesn't lie in the known. In the known, you have only what you are manifesting today. But if you want to manifest a new goal, you want to manifest something, you have to move outside your box. So you have to move into the unknown.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. Hope everyone is enjoying our session so far. Let us know in the feedback, and share with us your limiting belief and what's that action step for you to take, even if it's like smiling to a stranger, that would help you pull out of that belief and being able to work on it. So thanks, Karuna, for joining me today, and everyone who's watching the live and everyone who will be watching the replay.
Yeah, thank you all. And we did do a good job with the time today. It's a good job, Julie.
See you guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, bye-bye.